Hey everybody, it's Richard. Some quick tips and tricks. I realized that when I was talking about a variety of different AI tools during staff meeting, a lot of people began to ask me, how do you set yourself up in the very beginning, set these tools up? And I realized I hadn't really covered that. So I'm going to do something super quick, mostly for my team to show them how I kind of set up the tools, and also to talk a little bit about context engineering in that same vein. I'm going to show a couple of the tools, the way I set them up, and the basic idea is there is a very high level setting that you put in, which is your name, how you like to be spoken to, and then you want to break down the work that you're doing into either, the tools call them differently, but projects or custom GPTs or spaces or whatever. Because when you're chatting with the tool regarding, let's say, planning versus coding, you want to encapsulate those conversations into separate buckets because the tool utilizes those conversations as a piece of context and how to answer you. To get better answers, you want to have just some basic information, then more specific as you get into a project. I'll show you how to make little folders and stuff. And then lastly, you would want to enable memories, and the memory feature is looking at the dialogue that's going on back and forth, which also aids in the context and the way that it answers per project. Upload any documents or any files inside a particular project, which helps it gain more context that it needs to answer you more clearly. Let's take a look at a couple, and I have them lined up here. The first one is ChatGPT. And one of the things that ChatGPT has is a basic personalization area. And that's where you just tell it, this is my name, this is what I do. And when you answer me, always just give me the straight dope at the very top and speak a certain way when you write emails and so on. And then I have a speaking style that I like. That's that top layer. When you go a little bit deeper, when you go into ChatGPT, let me go over here and open this up. You have, I like projects, and inside a particular project, here's one that I'm working on in regards to getting WinGet to function properly on an older server, or this, which is my medical condition that I always look up stuff. Inside of here, you can have custom instructions, so it knows who I am. But inside of here, I have instructions on always give me the latest information on this particular condition and always reference the latest in peptide research because I'm into peptides and stuff. So that's basic. Go into here, go to settings, and flip on these particular memory features here. Now, it's worth noting there is a lawsuit between the New York Times and OpenAI. They potentially may subpoena past chat information. So it's up to you and your legal team in regards to whether you want to come in here and delete everything. I'm not an attorney, but it's worth noting. One other thing is I'm using more projects now and less of GPTs, custom GPTs, but similar in encapsulating in that second layer in that bucket. You can go to GPTs, go to My GPTs, go to Customize It, and here you can put in instructions specific to conversations that take place inside that custom GPT, where you only want it to reference certain sources, you want it to use these particular instructions when answering me. Now, these longer instructions, I find in much, but for coding, maybe. So I don't really know how much this helps now that we have reasoning models that can kind of do this and you see it step through. But new features they added recently are the abilities to customize which tools are inside this particular custom GPT. And you can also customize, always use a specific model when you're doing this kind of interaction or whatever. The next one I want to show is the tool that we use, Abacus AI. Love it. It's an amazing tool. It gives you access to all these different paid models that are out there right now. And while they don't have that top layer, kind of something I wish they had, where you could say, hey, my name's Richard, blah, 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 whatever, it does pick up some of that from your registry. Similar to ChatGPT, you would come over and you would click to make a new project, and that's where you can kind of define everything specific for it. Here you click the plus symbol, create a new project. Here's a project we're working on where we are looking at configuring a particular firewall, and all of the conversations are kept in here, and I have custom instructions for this specific project. So top layer, we're on the second layer coming down here, and I have my different projects here. Similar to that, you want to be able to add context to these projects. So if you have any kind of error code, you can take a picture of the error code and use the paperclip button, upload that. I really want the team that I work with to use that attachment feature. Now, the attachment feature with like a long book or something like that is limited in the amount that the tool can read. So if you have lots of information, you just add it as specific files inside there. ChatGPT is the same. You add those in. But if you're having a simple conversation, you get an error code or you get some output from something, just put it into a file, click the paperclip or the plus symbol in ChatGPT, upload that file. That helps it have more information in how to answer you. So here's LinkedIn, my project for LinkedIn posts, and I have other posts that I have uploaded in here as examples of my writing style. So that gives it, this is all considered context engineering, it gives it specific information so that when I chat with it, the answers are based in this kind of reality, right? In Perplexity, another tool, this looks a little bit different because I'm using the fabulous Comet browser. But what you would do is you would come into here and you would go into the preferences of this account. Actually, let me go here, personalization, sorry. This is that top layer where you put in just your name, what you do, how you want it to answer you. That other bottom layer of the memories down here, you want to enable that memory. In Chat LM, they actually recently added the memory feature as of a couple days ago. So you come into your account setup, click on memories and flip it here. And that again is recording or looking at some of the dialogue that's going back and forth for the express purpose of future conversations based in that dialogue. So they all have these. Here it is in Perplexity, where you want to save that. Here's the base information. Perplexity has also their version of projects, which they call spaces. So if I go to here, here's spaces, and here is a particular space in which I'm working on, let me see, this is certainly my condition. So I have information in there. What else do I have? ADFS, let me look here. So while I haven't uploaded any text files or documents, this is where you can add specific instructions. So for context, so it answers you specifically in a certain way for this particular project that I'm working on. So again, that is, let me go here. Just a bit of bait to wrap up. You want to try to have in whatever tool that you're using some basic information about who you are, how you like to be spoken to. Next, you want to try to work with the tools, each one of these, in buckets. And in those buckets, which might be called a space, might be called a project, might be called a custom GPT, you want to have specific instructions on how you want to be spoken to there, specific things you want it to focus on, and you may upload inside that project and allow it to pre-digest and index either PDFs, images, Word documents, whatever, that it is then going to reference in it how it answers you, right? And if you're just having a regular chat and it's something that's small, in the regular chat, just go ahead, throw in a photo or throw in a output of a error code that you're getting and iterate on top of that. So this again is a little bit about how to just set your account up from the very beginning. And then as you begin to utilize it in this layer cake, how to add a little context engineering to give it a little bit of a framework to work from. Now, again, there's compliance issues with these various different tools. I'm not going to go down that road. I do see where it's actually going to be addressed as a thing, because as you know, I always mention compliance in these documents you upload and these things you talk about. So Perplexity has coming up something for the browser where they're looking at a introduction coming up regarding an enterprise version, and that enterprise version would have higher compliancy. Chat from Abacus already SOC 2, so there's some protections that are there. So I am seeing in these above the $20 subscriptions where you're getting higher and higher compliancies in your interactions back and forth. So again, account setup, how to communicate back and forth, be more specific as you get down into projects or custom GPTs, separate out your conversations into separate buckets, and enjoy using these tools. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.